I'm joined again today by Ivan Murphy, Executive Chairman of Harena Rare Earths, who are advancing their ionic-clay rare earths project in Madagascar and have just reached a major milestone, publishing their pre-feasibility study. Thanks for joining me, Ivan.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So, Ivan, let's talk about the PFS then. What do the numbers look like?
Yeah, so look, as you say, landmark day for us yesterday, getting this out into the market. It's the culmination of an awful lot of work. We'd already mentioned this in other announcements that we've made over the last couple of months that we were preparing this and completing it in conjunction with the ministry as part of our licensing upgrade. And so yesterday we were able to publish a
Hmm.
significant part of that, and certainly those key highlights. I think the big takeaways here are it just shows the scale of the project. It shows the numbers, what it's going to cost us to get it into production. It also shows the massive valuation that we have of our asset as it stands today, not yet reflected in our market cap, but
Hmm.
hopefully going in the right direction. So, we have on conservative estimates an NPV now of over 300 million, and then using higher pricing points up to 600 plus million. So that's a wide range, but a very high low case of 343 million, whatever it is exactly.
Hmm.
So, that shows the scale of the project. And then, we have a massive cash flow associated with that over the life of the mine into the billions. So, I think that's our first chance to show people this is what we've said it is. This equates to our reserve, which we've already published, which is verified. And so this is what 600,000 tons of total rare earths looks like over the life of a mine and over its valuation using these prices. The thing about pricing in my world in rare earths is it's not like gold, so we don't have a spot price. Yes, you can't just multiply everything by 5,000 or whatever it
No.
is today. So everybody has a different basket. We have a very high contingency of heavy rare earths in our basket, which means we do get higher pricing. But for the sake of a PFS, you have to be conservative and sort of manage those expectations. But it just shows you that the potential upside here is a very significant number.
Hmm. So I think that's something you'll be submitting to the Madagascar Mining Ministry, I believe. How's the relationship there?
It's already been submitted to them, and that's what we were
Yeah.
waiting for. We didn't want to publish it until they had it. So that's fine. That's kind of completed, and now we're just awaiting the upgrade of our license over these next couple of weeks. So very happy with that. They've been hugely supportive, as I've already mentioned, and have been party to this work that we've done, So it's been great to be able to work with them like that. So no, very happy with everything in country. And this is a big moment for them too, because this PFS and the next stage of licensing starts to unlock the inward investment, which is what our commitment is to the country
Hmm.
for employment and all the things that go with it. So they're as keen for us to get on with it as we are.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. How will the PFS impact upon discussions that you're having with the USDFC, who I think you announced recently you're talking to now, with regard to grant funding? Is this a key step, to help move those discussions forwards?
Yeah, of course. Now they have had it, our versions of it under NDA for a little bit longer than obviously that you'd expect over these last couple of weeks. But now that that submission is completed with them, which I think we did inform the market of, so we've completed the submission to them, and now we're just waiting for the next stage as we move through the process with them for the granting of this development loan. This isn't an equity
Hmm.
investment at this point. It's a supplementary up to $5 million that they've been giving to other companies like ours, like Macongo and others, as you well know. So
Yeah.
we're well on our way with them, going really well. They've been brilliant to deal with. I mean, you have to compliment the American administration in the critical mineral space. They're so proactive, and they're just on it. And I think that, as I always say, I think the UK and Europe could be doing similarly in this space.
Hmm. Okay, well, just let's quickly talk about Apasindava itself. I mean, I think there's something like 17 different types of rare earths. How does Apasindava stack up in its sort of rare earth mix, particularly looking at considering the nervousness in the markets about sourcing particular rare earths at the moment, and especially being outside of China?
Yeah. So look, I think that that's really important. And there's another big differentiator in our project to other projects, which is that our predominance of NdPr and DyTb. I can pronounce them if you like. That's
I'm
neodymium, praseodymium, dysprosium, and terbium.
glad you did because I couldn't.
So they're the key ones you need if you want to make magnets, also the key ones that are relevant to defense applications. And we're going to be producing about 1,700 tons a year of those, which is not an insignificant amount. So, that shows you that we are really in the sweet spot of what's causing all this chaos in the critical mineral space, which is the Chinese have plus 90% control over those specific rare earths. So anything that's alleviating anyone's dependence on China, specifically the US, is obviously very sought after. We will be producing about 4,000 tons a year in total, with a significant part of those being those magnetic rare earth minerals. So, that's the real prize within the rare earth basket. This is what you want. You want it to be bent
Mm,
towards these higher value rare earths that have the higher demand for both defense and for EVs.
yeah. Okay, well, look, a big milestone hit, a good result. What does the path to production look like then? And what are the remaining milestones, and what could the timeline look like?
Yeah, we referred to the announcement here that we're still comfortable that we can deliver concentrate towards the end of 2027. So that's a full, like, kind of 24 months from now, let's say. And we're very much happy that we're on target for that. So that's good. And in mining terms, that's very soon, um,
Yeah.
as you know. So, and I think that speaks to the simplicity of the process that we have because we're on mineralized clays, because of the processing, which is detailed in the longer piece in the announcement yesterday. So yeah, I think that's on track. We're comfortable with that. The next steps are pretty now defined for us. We move through this thing with the DFC, with the licensing. That allows us then to start working on our lab, our proof of concept, and just processing more material to start to build up a better definition of our processing. And then from there, you start to build out your actual production. So you have a kind of a mini, test lab, and you're doing everything in small, and then you start to develop that out to start to do it in bulk. So, they're the kind of next milestones for us. And then at some point, then there's a much larger financing, which would be a debt equity financing to provide the majority of this 142 million that we need to bring the thing through to production.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there, some mining companies can take, like, I don't know, another 4 years, 5 years from a PFS stage to get to production. They go through a DFS and they go through various other processes. But it sounds like the key takeaway is that actually your path to production is a lot quicker.
It's a lot quicker because, as you know, the nature of our mineralization is different. And of course, it's a
Mm,
scale thing. If you're developing out a multi-thousand ounce production of gold, it's just going to take longer. It's just a lot more.
mm.
We also have logistic advantages because of our proximity to the port and because we're close to the shore. So there's not a huge amount of road building and a lot of other works that you would associate with
Not in the
with
middle of a jungle, basically.
yeah, we're just much closer to the coast, so we
Yeah.
only have a short road to kind of upgrade down to the port. So, they're huge things that if you were in the middle of Central African Republic,
Mm,
there could be 2 years of building logistics, which we
yeah.
just don't have. So no, we're excited about that. Really, really pleased.
Okay. Well, great stuff, Ivan. Thanks for giving us an update, and look forward to chatting to you again in the future when we have some more news.
Yeah, look forward to it as well. Thanks, Darren.